He's here.
This all happened the year I turned 10. It was the kind of summer that gets written into a town's history. A relentless, suffocating heat wave that baked our small town of Redwood Creek into a shimmering haze. The asphalt on the roads turned soft and tacky, and the air was so thick at night you could barely breathe. In that kind of heat, a kid only has two options: stay imprisoned indoors, or find somewhere, anywhere, to get cool. My name is Leo, and my best friend, Sam, and I were explorers. Our world wasn't confined to our houses and the schoolyard. Our world was the tangled woods, the hidden creeks, and all the secrets buried in Redwood Creek. And the biggest secret in our neighborhood was the Sunken Pines community pool. It had been abandoned for years. A tall chain-link fence, bleeding rust down its diamond-shaped eyes, circled the entire property. The adults in town whispered about why it closed. Some said a kid drowned there 15 years back. Others talked about a chemical spill. Nobody knew the real story, but there was a heavy silence around the place. We were given one simple rule: stay away from the pool. One afternoon, with the sun at its most brutal, we were cutting past the fence. Sam was rambling on about a baseball game, but I wasn't really listening. I could hear something else. Faint splashes, the distant echo of children laughing, like a phantom memory drifting on the hot air. I stopped. Did you hear that? Sam paused, listening. Hear what? It's just cicadas, man. I let it go, but then my eyes fell on the pool beyond the fence, and for a split second, it changed. The rusted fence looked new. The cracked, stained concrete vanished, and the entire pool was filled to the brim with glittering sapphire blue water. It sparkled so intensely in the sun, it hurt my eyes. I blinked, and just like that, it was gone. The derelict, empty pit was back. Leo? You spacing out? Sam nudged my shoulder. Nothing, I said. I think the heat's getting to me. But I couldn't get the image out of my head. For the next 2 days, I was restless. The thought of that cool, blue water pulled at me. Finally, I went back alone. I found a spot where the bottom of the fence was loose, and I army crawled my way onto the property. The air inside the fence felt still, silent. I walked to the edge of the pool. It was just as dead and empty as I'd remembered. I was about to turn back, disappointed, when I saw it. In the deep end, a shimmer, a distortion in the air, like heat rising from pavement, but it had a strange, hypnotic quality. It undulated, as if it were a living thing breathing just beneath the surface of the concrete. And then, a thought bloomed in my mind. It wasn't a voice, but a pure, distinct feeling. Coolness. Come down. The heat can't touch you here. I was mesmerized. I walked down the pool steps, my sneakers echoing on the dry, dirty concrete. The moment my foot hit the floor of the pool, I felt it. A cold so profound, it felt like it was coming from inside my bones. It was like standing under a glacial waterfall. The sensation was so euphoric. All my fatigue, all the oppressive heat, just vanished. I closed my eyes and just stood there. When I climbed out a few minutes later, I felt incredible, completely refreshed. As I was leaving, I checked my pockets and found a small, perfectly smooth, cool to the touch stone, the kind you'd find in a riverbed. I'd never seen it before. A souvenir, I guessed. When I got home, my mom said I seemed calm. I didn't think much of it. But that night, looking in the bathroom mirror, my reflection seemed off, just slightly, like I was looking at myself through a thin film of steam. This became my ritual. Every day after school, I'd sneak into the pool. Every time, I'd feel that same blissful cold, and every time, I'd find a new, smooth stone in my pocket. I started collecting them in a shoebox under my bed, but the ritual began to take its toll. Slowly, my appetite disappeared. Warm food started to disgust me. Whenever my mom served hot soup or stew, I'd feel a wave of nausea. My skin was always cool to the touch, even when I was standing in direct sunlight. One day at school, I got a nosebleed, but it wasn't blood. It was a thin, watery, reddish fluid. My parents took me to a doctor. He ran every test he could think of, but was baffled. "It's likely a strange reaction to the heat," was all he could say. Sam was getting suspicious. "Dude, you look tired all the time," he said one day. "And you keep hanging around that creepy old pool. That place is bad news." The Glimmer Man's influence was growing stronger. Whenever I heard the sound of running water in the house, the shower, the kitchen sink, I'd hear whispers carried within it. "They don't understand you. They want to take the coolness away. I'm your only friend." And the scene inside the pool was getting worse. What started as a shimmer now had a vague, humanoid form. Worse, I could now see a clear reflection of myself on the concrete floor of the deep end. A version of me that looked healthy, confident, and smiling, while the real me, the one standing outside the pool, was slowly becoming a ghost. One afternoon, I stared at the reflection. It looked back at me, and it waved. On its own, I ran from that place, my heart hammering in my chest. A few days later, I was swimming, lost in that cold euphoria on the pool floor, when Sam showed up. "Leo, I knew I'd find you here," he yelled from behind the fence. His voice shattered the trance. I opened my eyes and found myself shivering on the filthy concrete. The Glimmer Man was furious at the intrusion. The temperature inside the fence dropped instantly, and the heavy gate slammed shut with a deafening bang. We both panicked. Together, we threw our weight against the gate, and after a struggle, we managed to pry it open and escape. "What was that, Leo?" Sam panted. "How did it get so cold in there?" I didn't evade an answer. That night, my own dog, Buster, who always slept at the foot of my bed, refused to come in my room. He just stood in the doorway, growling at me. I knew then that something was truly, deeply wrong with me. I was getting weaker. The voice of the Glimmer Man was a constant presence now. "You're fading, Leo. To be whole again, we have to make a full trade. Bring your friend. His warmth for your permanence. It's the only way. Bring him, or I'll take what's left of you." I knew it was monstrous, but I was 10, and I was terrified, and I didn't have the strength to fight anymore. The next evening, I convinced Sam to come with me to the pool one last time. "Just look inside. I'll prove there's nothing there," I pleaded. He looked at my pale face, the dark circles under my eyes. "No, Leo, I'm not going in there, and neither are you. I'm telling your parents. Right now." The moment he said it, the shimmering at the bottom of the pool erupted. Dozens of watery, glistening hands shot up from the concrete, reaching for Sam. At the same time, my reflection at the bottom of the pool, now looking almost completely solid, began to crawl and contort its way over the edge. It had my face, but its smile was wide and predatory. Seeing that thing wearing my face, trying to climb out, jolted the real me back to my senses. It was going to take my best friend. I lunged forward, grabbing Sam with all my remaining strength, and pulled him back just as a shimmering hand grazed the tip of his shoe. We ran, and we didn't look back. I collapsed that night. When I woke up, I was in the hospital. It took me weeks to recover, but I never fully did. There's a small patch of skin on my left arm that is forever cold to the touch, no matter how warm it is, and I can't look in mirrors. When I do, I see flashes of another place behind my own reflection, A world of dark, swirling water, filled with other pale, smiling faces. That was 20 years ago. I moved out of Redwood Creek as soon as I could. But yesterday, I got a call. My old hometown is being redeveloped. They're tearing down the Sunken Pines pool to build condos. And then this morning, I saw an article on a local news site. The headline read, "Strange disappearance halts construction at Sunken Pines site." I scrolled down, my hand shaking. The article said a construction worker had vanished without a trace. His colleagues were being questioned. They all told the same story. Just moments before he disappeared, they saw him talking to a small, shimmering boy by the old fence line.